What's going on, guys? ChaseWins.com coming to you for Saturday, the 16th of November. Big college football Saturday today. A lot of playoff implications today, involving what maybe, Baylor might be able to do, depending on how the season plays out. Minnesota's playing today. Still trying to, nudge their way in. You have Georgia-Auburn, which is going to be a big game. I mean, Auburn's essentially playing for nothing, but they could easily play spoiler to Georgia's hopes. Wake could play spoiler to Clemson's hopes. Mississippi State could play spoiler to any slim margin of hope or prayer that Alabama would have. Obviously, we know Rutgers is not going to upset Ohio State, but question would be, anybody that wants to go out there and lay 52 points, by all means, more power to you. I'm going to have a couple $100 on it just for shits and giggles. So there's you a free lean, and that's just because I think that Ohio State's one of those teams that will gladly run up the score on anybody. They could beat this team by 100, and there's no question about that. The question is, will they? What are they willing to go out there and risk? What are they willing to go out there and do to try to make a statement, to try to say, we are the best team in the country. Nobody tops us. Not LSU, not anybody. But the thing is, it's like, how much is enough? Because you beating a team by 30 versus by 100 isn't going to change your playoff stock, especially not if teams like Clemson and LSU and Georgia win, period. They don't have to go out there and win by 100. They don't even have to go out there and cover their respected spreads. At this point, it's win. Go out there and win. So that's why I cannot lay 52 with Ohio State, even though, like I've said since week 2, they are the best team in college football, the most well-rounded. So a lean, because I feel like I have to have action on this game, I'm going to play it, but it'll be at a lean, fun money at best. The game that we're actually going to break down is going to be Baylor, Oklahoma, the big, game of the day, or game of the week, I guess you could say. Game day's there. It's on behind me. That'll be the one that we do, but let's get on a recap of yesterday. A comment was made, to me early this morning via email, and it was somebody that had watched my live show yesterday and was like, so I guess, you're 9-0 in the last 2 days of college basketball. Why did you not tell everybody? Or I said, as I told everybody, that was my number 2 sport. And he goes, well, why did you not make announcement of that prior to allow someone to jump on when you had the early bird special going on, instead of making us wait until, 2 weeks into the season? And I'm sitting there thinking, I said, brother, how long have you been watching me? Because I started talking about this a month prior to basketball starting. I mentioned it every day. I told everybody, this is usually my number 2 sport. It is one of my best. It's something that we are always extremely profitable in, year out. We'll be profitable the first week, but by the second week, we'll be gelling right along at over 70%. And we start doing that, and it's like, well, why didn't you tell everybody? I did. Many times. That's why you guys have to listen, because I'm not going to keep harping on it weeks and weeks into the season, because then all I have to do is tell you what we're winning and losing. You can make your own, judgment about it then. After last night, another great night. Now, North Carolina not covering their spread, in which they should have. That's one of those that you just have to take. Like I said, taking high spreads in college basketball in the early going can be risky, but you pick your spots, and you will always be successful if you pick the right spots. That's my job. That's why yesterday, with teams like Texas and with teams like Auburn as a top play, they were easy wins. But yet sometimes, like, people were asking me Duke yesterday, Duke, and I said Duke's is good enough for a lean for me, but Duke's not going to be a premium play. I do not lay spreads like that with Duke. And they're like, oh, well, you said that the other day and you put it as a lean. They were minus 33 or 34, and they won by almost 50. I said, okay. I said, and they'll just as easily not cover that spread. Case in point, last night, Duke does not. I mean, hell, based on who they were playing, they barely won the damn game. So just follow me on that, guys. I mean, it's not always Duke versus a nobody or Kansas versus a nobody. This isn't like football. This is basketball. A few bad mistakes can carry on for more than just a possession or two. That could set momentum for overall the entire game. So just pay attention to that if you're doing your own capping. But as of last night, we brought the record to, we did drop that play last night. So obviously we did not sweep another day in college basketball. But, if you've been with me for just the last 3 days. So yesterday, Auburn is a top play. South Carolina was a blowout. North Dakota State was a winner. Lamar -3 was a blowout. Texas -25 was an easy winner. Utah State -28 did not quite cover. As I said, North Carolina did not cover. And Michigan missed it. So, but again, winning day, and that puts us right there. So 1, 2, 3, 6. So what are we now? 16-3? Yeah, 16-3 in the last 3 days. I mean, do the math. There is a special going on for the college football season, $399. That is going on through tomorrow, and that also enters you to win if you buy it, to win this helmet, actual official helmet from the athletic department at the university. Anybody that buys a season package, even if it's discounted, just like the one for college basketball, if you were to buy that, if you were to buy hockey, if you were to buy, and hockey's been on a slump this week, it has. Recrunched the numbers last night. We're still sitting at 70.61% for the season in all plays. And we are still sitting at, I think it's 19 and, what was the total top play number? 20-4. I mean, still sitting 90% or 89.67% in NHL top plays. So, of course, comments have been made about NHL. NHL's this. Guys, we're now here over a month into the season, and we're still sitting as good as we are. There should be zero complaints because, as I tell people, we're going to lose hockey games. Just because we go out there and it seems like we just can't lose, we are going to lose games. We are going to have bad weeks in every sport. Hell, I have them in baseball. But it's what you do in the long run. So it's still well worth buying the NHL season. You're going to make money hand over fist. But so if you were to buy that, if you were to buy a month package, if you were to buy the 1 year all access, and I'll even discount the 1 year all access if you want it, and still put you in the helmet in the drawing. We are going to announce it on Sunday, so make sure if you buy a month pass, season pass, or 1 year all access pass, that immediately gets you entered. The way it works, if you buy a month pass, you get 3 entries. If you buy a season pass, you get 5 entries. And if you buy a year all access pass, you immediately get 10 entries. Patrick Sater, you know who you are. You bought a year all access. You have got 10 entries into the helmet giveaway already. So I got you taken care of. So that way I figured if you heard this, you might end up asking, but you are already entered, my friend. So, like I said yesterday, another day there. Let's see. Pull this back up. The 76ers falling last night when they put their core back together. I don't know. I want to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments on that one. Do you think that that's speaking volumes for where this program's going this year? Anybody, think that because again, they had big hype in the East. They had big expectations to win the East. Hell, I thought going into the season, if somebody would have put the gun to my head and said, hey, who do you think is going to win the East? I would have said, first glance, Philadelphia. You put your core back together, what you've been waiting on, and you play like that. I don't know. Maybe it was a fluke. Maybe they got to start gelling back together. Let me know what you guys think there. And like I said, hockey's been on a little bit of a slump this week, but it's okay. We'll bounce right back. I actually really like the hockey card today. Guys, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 full pages of games today that I've been breaking down since last night. I've gotten all but one game done on my college football card. College basketball, NHL left to do. NBA's done. So I'm excited. So plays will be out shortly as far as the early games go. Afternoon will get posted shortly after that. The NFL Game of the Year is up. The write-up is now done, complete. I had to post the game yesterday. I got a bit of information about 1 p.m. yesterday, and I wanted to post the information before it was made public, and then people started making their own assumptions about things and started thinking one way versus the actual facts, so on and so forth. So I had to make a quick decision and jump to post the play before there was any initial line movement. So then I let everybody know that that was done, and I would get the write-up done later on. That write-up is now complete. So anybody that has purchased the play already, you can go back and look at the write-up. Anybody that purchases the play between now and tomorrow, you will you'll be able to have the write-up as soon as you buy it. And the play will be available until 1 p.m. tomorrow, or about 12:50, because as soon as the 1 p.m. kickoff start, the game's gone. You cannot purchase it, and you miss out. $100 comes with a 7-day guarantee. If, God forbid, it were to lose, you get 7 days of all plays absolutely free, no questions asked. So let's jump on a free play, guys. I got a lot of work to do. And we're going to go to the game. I let this be up to clients of mine, what they want to talk about. And the game that everybody wanted to talk about was, well, there was different games, but the one that I got the most requests for was Oklahoma and Baylor. Great game. Great game to pick. And I'll be honest with you. This is going to be a great game to watch. Let me just see if there's been any type of line movement whatsoever that may actually benefit us at all. Because when I was looking at it this morning, Oklahoma opening up as an 8.5-point favorite was now sitting at 10.5. I'd really like that line to come back down to 10, because that would put us in a perfect spot to buy down a 0.5 point. Let's see. Okay, I am seeing a couple of 10s out there. So shop your line on this one, guys, because I'm seeing 10s and 10.5. If you get it at 10.5, oh well. Because, again, this is a free play. It's not a top play or anything. But 10 would be the magic number, and if you get it at 10, I would buy it down to 9.5, as I always would within scores in those type of situations. Here's my thoughts on this. Baylor, one thing that their head coach has said all year, which I like, is that they're a very blue-collar team. They win on defense, they win on special teams, and they win by just hard-nosed, smash-mouth football. Very true. I think the coach is a good coach. I think coaching-wise, these teams are fairly deadlocked even. You're talking about rich history from a lot of these players that are at Baylor with their parents and grandparents and uncles playing or attending Texas, some of them attending Baylor, so it's like a long history of that. The one sure shot advantage that a team holds is at quarterback, and that's with Jalen Hurts, who I still think is the best quarterback in the country. And here's the thing when you talk about Big 12 schools that I've preached over and over again. They're all offense, no defense. This year, that trend has started to change. We've seen some defense, and I think that it started with Oklahoma, the team that has been notoriously known for never playing defense, but they could outscore anybody. That's how they've been in top 10 positions and in playoff positions in years past. They're playing defense, and I think that it comes with this new age of coaching that they've got that realizes if they want to win a championship and if they want to be in the mix in this day and age, defense cannot be taking a backseat to anything. Are they still more offensively minded than defensively? Sure. That just comes with the territory of anybody in that conference. True, honest opinion, I think the only coach that will actually change a Big 12 team to being more defensively minded than offensively will be Les Miles when he gets his first true class up into upperclassmen. These recruits he's got coming in, turning into juniors and seniors, that's when you'll see a major shift in the Big 12 overall that teams will have to start following or be left behind. Defensively, I say Baylor holds a slight edge overall. Size-wise, Oklahoma holds the edge, so that starts to even them back out. Baylor being at home gives them a slight edge. Jalen Hurts is a very large advantage in favor of Oklahoma. The corners and your left and right tackles are where I think Oklahoma defensively holds a small edge. Now, here's the thing. I power ranked this game. I did my depth charts for both teams, and truth be told, I would have Oklahoma as about 12.5 to 13-point favorites. The fact that Baylor is at home in prime time and undefeated brings that back down to about 9 points, because you have to take in situational information like that. Think about how much is at stake, because that does change the overall momentum and thought process of players, coaches, and everyone involved. So I think this spread is very, very sharp. I think it's very accurate. I think it's justified on both ends. Now, here's the thing. I think everybody's like, the Baylor backers or supporters or whoever that are saying, oh, they're screwed with their playoff ranking and they're not being given a chance. Well, guys, they've got to do more than be a top 10 team once just to immediately be thrown in the mix of top 5 and playoff ready teams. Because if we took Baylor and they had to play Oklahoma this week, and next week it was Clemson, then Georgia, then Ohio State, then LSU, then Alabama, and all these teams, what do you think the likelihood that Baylor even survives through week 2 with a win? It's very unlikely, because they're just not used to playing at that level week in and week out. Now, even though, go back to the beginning of the season when I said I don't think Oklahoma is a true top 4 team, but they are top 6, top 7. And it is because their offense may be the second most explosive offense in football. Defense is where they still have some work to do. Coaching is still young and has got to get used to being there, playing competition that's a little bit tougher as the Big 12 gets more powerful, with the likes of Kansas, obviously K-State, and Baylor making waves there. But I think this is going to come down to, truth be told, I think this is going to come down to not only Jalen Hurts, but whether or not Baylor keeps him in the pocket. If they keep him in the pocket and force him to throw in that pocket, then I think Baylor's got not only a good shot to win this game at home and pull the upset and stay undefeated, but they most certainly have the opportunity to cover this spread. Now, here's the thing. You let a quarterback like Jalen Hurts get outside that pocket and not only throw on the run, which he's so talented at, but use his legs in any way, which he's probably the best in the country at doing out of any quarterback, that's where you're going to run into problems. That's where you're going to realize that your defense has been on the field, or your offense has been on the field for 4, 5, 6 minutes, and then Oklahoma comes out, takes a minute off the clock, scores, and you got to go right back out. That's how Oklahoma gasses and wears down opponents. So this is what it's going to come down to. I think this could be a close game. You let Jalen get outside that pocket and start using his legs, offensively, you are no match. Then all it's going to come down to is not only them protecting Jalen, letting him do that. If Oklahoma can put any pressure on this Baylor quarterback and allow him to constantly feel pressure on either side and behind him, somebody sneaking up behind him, swatting that ball away, that mentally will break that team down, and I think Oklahoma wins by 2 touchdowns. So, again, This is all situational here, guys. There's no stat out there in the world that would make somebody go, okay, this is an easy decision. But because of that, I've got to go with who I think who is better at key positions. I'm going to look at my two corner defenders. I'm going to look at Jalen. That's who I'm going to look at. And I'm going to look at special teams. Even though Baylor is a good special teams unit, I think Oklahoma's is better. I'm going to go with Oklahoma. I am going to assume that Jalen gets to use his legs and gets outside that pocket a little bit. And if they do, Oklahoma by 14 is my prediction. If they don't let that happen, if Oklahoma wins, it won't be by any more than 6 if they don't lose outright. But your free prediction, it's not a premium play, but it's something everybody wanted to talk about. Let's say that Jalen Hurts gets to get outside that pocket and use his legs. Oklahoma by 14. We'll get it at 10. We'll buy it down to 9.5. If you get it at 10.5, that's okay. It'll probably be smart to buy it down to 10 to give you the ability to push if that were to come about. So, guys, I love you. Thank you for tuning in on Saturday morning. May go live a little bit later if we get time. Jump on the play of the year. Jump on a longer-term package and be entered to win this. I know you might not be a Tar Heel fan, but if you're a sports fan in general, it's cool to have. I'm going to be doing another giveaway here soon. I know I've got some fellow watch enthusiasts that have said stuff about my collection, maybe giving away a Rolex watch, one out of my collection. So you guys let me know. And I've got some sports memorabilia I'm going to be giving away as well. So have a happy Saturday. Plays will be out probably by 10:45 to 11 a.m. And we'll get on it for the rest of the day. See you guys.